Hello, everyone, and welcome to Castelfalfi, a beautiful hotel surrounded by the vastness of the Tuscan hills, perfect for a getaway stay in the charming Italian countryside. We arrived in the late afternoon, and after a moment of awe with the views, we settled into our suite, beautifully decorated with a modern yet comfortable style and with all the amenities you would expect from a luxury hotel. Our suite had a wide balcony with even more views of the gardens in full bloom and nothing else but rolling hills as far as the eye could see, and that is where we chose to spend the first moments of our stay in pure and serene contemplation. I then went for a full-body massage at the Raksha Wellness Spa, known for its integrative well-being treatments that harmonize the mind and body, blending traditional and modern techniques for a full balancing experience. While I enjoy my massage, I will show you around some of the areas of the hotel. If outside you have nothing but countryside views, the inside of Castelfalfi is tastefully decorated with modern elements, with plenty of flowers and natural textures all throughout the common areas, and with many pieces of art from the owner's personal art collection. The bar with its terrace overlooking the hills is one of the gravitational points of Castelfalfi, perfect for late afternoon cocktails in a relaxed atmosphere. Not far, you also have the access to the kids' club and the swimming pool area, neighboring the traditional and ancient Borgo, which I will visit in the morning after. Once I finished my massage, I went down to the swimming pool, a space with a very soothing ambience with both an indoor and outdoor swimming area and with more sweeping views of the hills. Here I spent another hour or so fully relaxing and taking it all in as the sun started to set and cast golden tones over the entire landscape. After getting back and ready for dinner, I went out for a few minutes to take a couple of photos of the landscape under the beautiful sunset golden light. Despite a little bit of wind, the landscape was fully serene, a calmness that slowly floods our mind and body. We then headed for dinner at Il Rosmarino, one of the three restaurants in Castelfalfi, located in a separate building just a short walk from the main one. Il Rosmarino is the more casual of the three restaurants, a trattoria and pizzeria, where you can dive into the simplicity and tastefulness of the Tuscan cuisine, from perfectly baked bread and focaccia dipped in the smoothest olive oil, all the way to the most iconic Italian desserts, going through pizzas or pastas as your main course. This was the perfect way to end our first day at Castelfalfi. The next morning dawned with a thin mist in the air, with denser fog hovering the lower valleys and the birds cheerfully chirping. Soon enough, the sun dissipated the whole mist, and we went down for breakfast and sat on the terrace with wide open views of the lush landscape. There is a wide variety of food to choose from, both on the menu and from the buffet, including vegetarian and vegan options, sweet or savory, so there is something for everyone's taste. Once we finished, we went exploring the Borgo Castelfalfi, a medieval village over 1,000 years old, right next to the hotel, with a few picturesque streets and gardens, and complete with a castle from the 14th century. I spent most of my morning walking up and down the small village, exploring the few stores that they have on site, although sadly there were a couple of them closed that day, and taking in all the beautiful views of the village's picturesque corners and of the landscape all around. After a calm and slow morning exploring the village, we went back to the terrace of the restaurant Olivina, where we had breakfast for a lunch with more of these beautiful views. For our afternoon, we had a couple of activities scheduled where we learned a lot about how Castelfalfi values and preserves the local heritage. We first met Adam, a falconer with a deep passion for all types of animals, and Thor, and we were taught a lot about falconry, the life and personalities of these birds, and the close relationship between the falconer and the bird. Before the time for our second activity came, we decided to relax for a while in our bedroom's terrace, enjoying more of the views over a glass of sparkling wine. We then headed to Castelfalfi's wine shop and winery, where they also have a small area where they process the honey that they collect from a few hives around the property. Visiting the hives and getting to know more about this process, the life of the bees, and the techniques they use to collect the honey was our second activity of the afternoon.
So it was saying the females 20 days inside. So you is exchanging different weapons for this kind. And we can already see a bit of honey inside of it. Textures. The thing about liquid or thick is about the sugar that the honey is inside. So mostly the thing is that since it's not extracted with the centrifuge, so with air, the composition of it is a bit more smooth, a bit more silky.
In the end, we had time to sit down and do a tasting of their own millefiori honey, fresh off the hive, paired along with local cheeses. As the evening started to fall on the landscape, and before going for dinner, we sat on the terrace to enjoy a cocktail with live music smoothly filling the space and pairing seamlessly with the light atmosphere and the chatter from the different tables.
And this gives to degree this wood testing. This is also not smooth, it's not strong. We use a method called Solera. usually used for the run. We have different barrels. This for the service, another three for the cycle of the Negroni. We put the new receipt in the barrel in the back, and the receipt that is in the barrel in the back.
Finally, we went back to Olivina for our last dinner, and this time we sat inside by the window as a few drops of rain started falling outside. Olivina is a more refined restaurant, not fine dining, but everything is made with a deep attention to the combination of the flavors and the aesthetic of the dishes. Still, all the dishes are inspired by Tuscan and Italian tradition, perfectly paired with Tuscan wines. Thank you for coming with me on this amazing stay in one of the most beautiful hotels in Tuscany. I hope you enjoyed getting to know more about Castelfalfi, and don't forget to subscribe for more of my explorations in Europe.